The next thing we're going to have a look at, or rather this thing, depending on which video you've seen, is how we can factorise using completing the square. So when we complete the square, what we do is we go from the general form to turning point form. So we turn this, ax squared plus bx plus c, into a times x minus h all squared plus k. And we call this turning point form because h, comma k give us the coordinates of the turning point or the vertex. And like I said, to get there, we complete the square. We're going to have a look at this in action with these two examples. So we've got x squared minus 6x minus 16 here. So to complete the square, what we do is, I'm just going to write this instruction over here in the bottom right hand corner. If we've got ax squared plus bx plus c, what we do is we rewrite that as being, that becomes, and we'll ignore that for now. Let's ignore the a. I'm going to cross that out. If we've got that, what we'll end up with is becomes x squared plus bx plus b over 2 all squared minus b over 2 all squared plus c. So what we've done is we've added this thing here and we've subtracted that thing there. So we've added something and subtracted it. We haven't changed the value of our equation at all, but we've just we've included two new terms. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to write that in that form, because this will be a perfect square. Perfect square? Yeah. We'll see how that'll work. Okay, so over here, x squared minus 6x minus 16. So we rewrite this x squared, and the minus 6x, it's a 6, not a b, and then we're going to take that number, halve it and square it. So we're just taking whatever number it is. So 6, so we're going to say plus 6 over 2, halve it and square it, minus 6 over 2, halve it and square it, minus 16. So this x squared minus 6x plus, I'm just going to write this as 3, and I'm going to keep that squared there. Over here, I know I've got 9 minus 16. So then this will now factorise to x minus 3 all squared, and we'll have negative 9 minus 16 minus 25. And that's all there is to it. That's why we go about doing that. Handling the factor. Just check what the questions say. What are we solving? Solve each of the following for x by first completing the square. Okay, so now that we've got that, we've got our a term and we've got our b term. So we can write this as being x minus 3 all squared minus 5 squared. So we can rewrite this as being x minus 3 plus 5. And this all equals 0. And then x minus 3 minus 5. And that still equals 0. So over here, we'll have x plus 2. And over here, we'll have x minus 8. And they equal 0. So because of that, can I scroll this up? Scroll that up, it's going up. Scroll this up as well. Can I do that? No, not letting me, there it goes. Okay, so we've got that, so we can say that x equals negative 2 and 8. And that's why we go about that. So that's completing the square to factorise so that we can solve for x. And like I said before, this section here, this gives us the coordinates of the turning point. So we'll have a turning point at 3 and negative 25. Okay, onto this thing here. I'm going to have to give myself some more space. So I'm going to do that, and do that, and I'm going to move that to there. So, with this thing, once again it equals 0. We're solving for x, we'll let it equal 0. So, because we don't have a 1 there, we've got to take that 3 out as a common factor. So I'm going to write it over here. So I'm going to say 3x squared plus 30x plus 72, and that equals 0. I'm going to write that equals clearer. And now I'm going to take that 3 out as a common factor. So I'm going to say 3, and we've got x squared. This is what we factorise, plus 10x plus 24 equals 0. And then we're going to complete the square on this part here. So we're going to say 3, we're going to leave that at the front, don't forget that. X squared plus 10x, and then we're going to do plus 10 over 2 all squared minus 10 over 2 all squared plus 24, close the bracket, equals 0. 3 x squared plus 10x, and then 10 over 2 is 5, so plus 5 squared minus 5 squared plus 24 still equals 0. So here we'll have 3. Now this will become x plus 5 all squared, and this becomes 5 squared, which is negative 25 plus 24 minus 1, and I'm going to say that equals 0. So now, because of that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say we're going to divide both sides by 3. So divide that by 3, divide that by 3. We've got x plus 5 all squared minus 1, and that equals 0. Here is our a term, here is our b term, and I'm going to do that over here. So I'm going to say we'll end up with x plus 5, 1 squared is 1, so that'll be plus 1, x plus 5 minus 1, and that equals 0. And we've got x plus 6, x plus 4 equals 0. So from there we imply that x equals negative 6 or negative 4. So that is how we complete the square to be able to factorise and solve for x. Now, one thing, at this point, if I was to find the turning point, what I do is I take this 3 and I put it back into this. So this, I'm going to write this in a different colour. This would become 3x plus 5 all squared minus 3 times 1, which is 3. So we'd have a turning point at negative 5 and negative 3. And that's how that would look. But that's completing the square so that we can factorise.